to Monday Mornings with Marc Hayford. Boom, 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 boom. Woo! Welcome back. Welcome back to your weekly dose of awesome, baby. Way to kick off the week. Fire it up. Wake it up. Start it up. Here we go. I'm your host, Marc Hayford. If you have not subscribed right now, subscribe to this channel. Every week we bring you vision, motivation, positivity, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Today is a little bit of a different twist to what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking with a man here that literally travels the world, has a big heart for missions, for giving others, and today we're going to talk about miracles. We're going to talk about faith, and we're going to talk about charity and the importance of that and how you could play a part in that. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Javier Rosa!
Thank you, Marc. How are you, brother?
Woo!
Yes,
Good.
sir. Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, rocking, bro. Rocking.
All right now. All right.
We had some audio issues. You have so much. You have such the newest technology. My Yeti microphone can't hang, but we're connecting. We're rocking,
yes,
man.
Yes.
How are you?
It's on.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Blessed by the best, brother. Thank you.
Hey, I'm glad we can get you on this show, man.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Please, it's my honor. We've been talking about it for a while. We talked about it right before we started recording live here, and just listen. I think it's important. A lot of people will do different charities and will give from the heart and do things, and they showcase it. And I don't find anything wrong with that. You do it and you don't showcase it, which is exactly why I wanted to have you on this show and showcase you, because I think your story is not only it has only inspired me, I think it's going to inspire others. And we have tons and tons and tons of people that your message can touch. So, ladies and gentlemen, Javier Rosa out of Pennsylvania, right? So let's talk. Let's talk here. First of all, your story. First of all, you got the second best haircut on the show.
All right.
Yeah, JR looking good. Skin is
bald is beautiful. Bald is beautiful.
So is. You get that thing shaved? You go somewhere for that?
All-Star Images.
Hey.
Yeah.
Do they do straight edge?
Yes, sir. Warm towels and all.
Warm towels on Mr. Rose's head.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, let's forget the warm towels. Let's talk about, let's get right into the ugly, man. Your story of success has started out with some tragedy in the beginning, and you are a veteran of the military.
8 years, United States Marine Corps.
Thank you for your service, brother. Really appreciate that.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for your service too, brother.
Back at you, man. Once a Marine, always a Marine. So, so tell me this. Tell us. You get out of the Marines and you're living life and you're doing your thing. Yes. You had an accident. What happened? Take us to where you were in life. What happened to you, and how did it affect you?
I got caught up in making money and making a lot of money. And that was my first priority. And I sort of put God on the back burner, and he woke me up. He gave me a rude awakening and, made me humble again. And that's what I needed. It was in 2006. There was a 35-ton truck. I was the passenger, and it rolled over twice and crushed 3 discs in my back. And I kept working and made it worse. And I was always told that it was just a back.
You kept working with crushed discs in your back.
Yes. The doctors from the job said that it was a back sprain. So, pain is weakness leaving the body. It was instilled in me for a long time. And, I pushed myself. And once I started falling and couldn't feel my legs, I knew it was serious. So I went to the doctors, and a year later, and just always in pain. And they did the surgery, and before.
What kind of surgery did you have? What kind of surgery?
I had L4-S1 removed.
Oof. Okay.
And the doctor said I only had a 10% chance of walking. So instantly I was in a dark place. I wrestled in college, wrestled in the Marine Corps, and I had a, 3-year-old son. So, mentally and physically, it really drained me, where, I was in a dark place going into the surgery. So normally when they give you a 10% chance, it's normally not good. And I woke up from the surgery, and I couldn't feel from my chest down. for over 9 months, and I cried every day
You
angry at God,
you were
saying, why did you allow this to happen to me? Why? And
oh, froze up here. Hold on. Let's see if we can get you back. Hold on. If you can hear me, you're telling me that you were we got you back here. You're telling me you were bedridden for 9 months.
Yes.
At that point, okay. Forget 9 months. How about day one? Active, hurt, you're day one in a bed. What are they telling you at this point? They're telling you 10% chance from here, or
no, this is prior to the surgery. Well, once he said, because they were in my back touching nerves and different things, that it may be a few days, could be weeks. They're not really sure.
Okay.
And, I lost my faith. I've really gotten to a phase of depression. I stopped prayer. I stopped believing in God. Like, why would God allow this to happen to anyone? And, the pastor from the church that I used to belong to used to come out every day, my parents. And, one day, I gave up. I asked, I handed him the pillow and told him that I wouldn't put up a fight. And he got teary-eyed and laid hands on me.
Your pastor.
Yes.
Your pastor visited you, and you basically asked your pastor, as you were bedridden for 9 months, to suffocate you.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
And I was just to that point where I couldn't see myself not living, wrestling, being an athlete all my life, and, always doing things for myself. Now I had to depend on someone else, and it was tough for me. And, he literally cried and laid hands on me and gave me scriptures. And after about 9 months, my faith started coming back stronger. And I'm like, I made a promise to God, and I know everyone does it. You have a rough night, like, God, I won't do this again if you let me get through it. And I really meant my promise. I asked God that if he allowed me to walk again, I'll be a loyal servant. And from that day, I've been serving him and trying to bless those that need to be blessed. And here I am walking,
What was that like? So you make this promise to God as you are an invalid. What's the recovery process? What's the time like? Where do you start to see the clouds beginning to lift on this whole situation?
Just a few days later, I start shaking my toes just gradually, and and it just made me believe in, we serve a merciful God. He healed the crippled, the blind, and I know this, but because it happened to me and I had to face that, it was difficult. It was taken from me. Now, here I am. And I couldn't ask for anything more, and God's been, all the blessings he bestowed on my family, myself. It's been amazing.
Well, God said where in the Bible, where two or more are present in my name, he will hear you. And it's not just Christ in the book of Acts when he wound up, leaving so the great comforter, the Holy Spirit can come. It filled the apostles, and they were able to have magnificent spiritual gifts, healing powers, physical gifts. And I think for believers that have all different types of gifts, that's not a joke. Healing, putting your hands on people. I'm not talking about the hokey thing that you see on TV at 3 a.m. where they're trying to take your money. I'm talking about authentic faith, belief in God, and going to him for, I don't think there's strength in us. I believe there's strength through him. Yes. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's what your pastor executed on you, man, and brought your faith back. So you wound up feeling your toes. You wound up coming back to life. And then you said 9 months from there, you're able to be out of the bed at that point?
Yes. Well, after the 9 months go by, maybe a few weeks later, I start really pushing myself at therapy. And because I started seeing a lot of, progression. It was amazing where, with the walker, with the therapist, and, they were amazing. And, they were believers as well. And, they really helped me get through this, and my hat goes off to them. And, just from day one till the end, I look back and, till this day, it happened in 2006, I asked God for forgiveness for stop believing in him, and he really, really humbled me tremendously, and, I wouldn't change a thing.
So Your prayers are answered, literally, not figuratively, not as a a slang term. Your prayers were literally answered. You were an invalid. You were asking for death, and now you're brought and you're full again. You are full of life, and now you're fulfilling your promise, and you are serving and glorifying God through your actions. So let's talk about that. So what are your actions? You have a mission that you're doing here, and
yes,
what's the mission?
I belong to Brandywine Grace out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania. And 2 years ago, we had an opportunity to go on a missions trip. And I really wanted to go.
Where was the trip going to?
This was to Guatemala.
Okay.
So I was like, this is awesome. I want to go, but physically I knew I wasn't able to. And there's a lot of walking, a lot of things that need to be done. So I missed the first trip. And the way God works is amazing, as we all know. He kept putting little things in my life. Like my uncle married a woman from Guatemala. My nephew dated a girl from Guatemala. There's a pizza shop in the local area owned by a gentleman from Guatemala. So, it was just, everything was just landing in place. And finally, the next trip a year later came around, and I signed up. So I go to my doctor, and I'm like, Doc, I want to go on this mission trip. He's like, no, I'm not signing the medical release. And I'm like, well, look, my doctor upstairs says I'm going, whether you sign it or not. My wife, everyone in the family is like, Javier, you can't go. Who's going to take care of you? So I just laughed at him, like, well, I have good security, so I'm good, And I took that leap of faith. And by me taking that leap of faith, everything's been falling into place. I go down there, and the team I was with, they had a hard time keeping up with me. And at first, down deep, I said, well, what do I have to share? I went to school for science, graduated the degree in science. And I'm like, well, what can I share with these folks? And God just put it all on the table. Once I got there, literally the whole week I was there, I got to speak about why people weren't going to church because of back injuries. And I had the opportunity to share my MRIs, pictures and things like that. And, now those folks, every time I go to Guatemala, they're still at church, and they always ask for me, that means a lot to me. It's like, wow, like, thank you, So,
we see people that do missions local or all over the world, sometimes in hostile territories and parts of the world where missionaries need to literally be snuck into a country because they could be imprisoned, tortured, killed. Clearly, Guatemala isn't at that level, but what was it like when you were going into that environment? Were you scared? Were you apprehensive? Were you well received? What was it like initially?
I was well received in the beginning, and it's called Zona Una, Zone 1, and it's a landfill. And there's over 42,000 unregistered Guatemalans. There's like murders, there's drugs, there's rapes, and a lot of, hunger and desperation in this area. And, I was a close combat instructor, but there's a team of 15 of us. I was like, I can't defend all of us. So we just prayed and like, God, just please protect us. And he did. He got us in there, and it opened a lot of doors for me where, I've had the opportunity to see little kids drinking muddy water and, playing with sticks as toys and eating out of the garbage. And it was tough, and then we come back to the States and we don't have that struggle, so I was able to see that and, speak to a few people in that community that allow me every time I go with open arms. They allow me to come in, and not everyone's allowed in there. And it's just an amazing feeling that God opened that door for me to try to touch a few folks.
Wow. That just struck a chord. I mean, we have Wi-Fi, we'll have kids that are fighting over, different things on Snapchat or Insta. I mean, and you're talking about kids that are playing with sticks. That's their primary form of entertainment.
Yes.
So you definitely go in third world for mission. So how did this start to evolve from you going down, faith-based, and having literally these miracles be put in front of you? And I believe that when you serve him, he will open the doors for you. And all you got to do is have that faith. When it doesn't matter what the doctors or the security or whatever, he just takes care of it because you're glorifying him. So what are you doing to glorify him while you're down there? Because to my understanding, first of all, and I know you're not one to brag about this, but we're not bragging. I just want it known. talk about what you did with granola bars, because that was pretty impressive.
Yes. I was on my way to the airport, and I get a phone call from a gentleman that I deal with in Guatemala. And he just told me that there was at the landfill, there was a mudslide and hundreds of people died. You know, they're trying to help each other. They're pulling each other in. And, you know, I stopped at BJ's and I left. I have a buddy that has a driving service. He always takes me to the airport, and I left all my clothes in his trunk and filled both of my suitcases up with granola bars. And that's what I took down. And then I went to Walmart down there and bought some sweatpants and t-shirts. And, you know, I was able, you know, I explained to them that it's not much, but, you know, everything helps. And they, you know, they thought it was amazing. You know, that's the first meal some of them had in days.
So on your own dime, first of all, you're flying back and forth. You've packed hundreds of granola bars, maybe
2,000 granola bars. Yes.
I'm going to say a couple thousand granola bars in big suitcases. Yes. And you bought sweatpants when you went down there just because you'll figure it out when you get down there.
Definitely. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, new toothbrush, everything, you know, and, you know, once I got down, I linked up with a company where they brought fresh water down, and, you know, and it was.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You linked up with a company that brought fresh. How did someone just link up with it? What did you do?
I went down and I just started Googling water companies, and one just stuck out. I called them and explained my situation, where I was from, and they brought the trucks with bottles of water, and I was able to pass them out, you know, and.
Unbelievable. Okay. Now let's go here. Modern day, you go back and forth there a lot, and you're welcomed at this point because you're established in the community. So talk about, because now here's where this goes beyond just giving charity. It's not just giving. It's that whole theory of I can give you a fish and give you dinner. I could teach you to fish. You can have a lifetime of dinners. You're teaching them to fish down there in that community, figuratively. Talk about what the heck are you doing? You're going down to Guatemala, and
yes, back up just a little bit. We were on a home visit, and here, you know, I'm co-owner of a furniture store here, so I love furniture. And we're walking to a family in Sacavillal. We're walking to a home, and I look down this big hill, and I see brand new furniture, which is weird. Like, wow, like it's dirt, and it's brand new furniture, and it looked good. So we pray for the family, and I was helping out, you know, one of the interpreters, and her and we became friends. So I asked her, I was like, you know, Wendy, you know, is it possible for you to introduce me? She's like, wow, you know, some of the men don't respect women, and, you know, and I was like, well, they're not going to respect me. I'm not from here, you know, and outsiders really aren't welcome. So I was like, just introduce me, please. So she opened the door, and I ran with it and started looking at the furniture, trying to find these flaws. Could not find any. And I'm a perfectionist when it comes to finding little details.
I've seen your work. You got sick work.
Thank you. So, you know, I asked him, you know, what does it cost? And so I did the translation. I was like, I need 10 sets. He goes, 10 sets, you know? So I was able to, you know, to bless him by me purchasing a few sets. And I get back home, and I'm like, Lord, what can I do to help these people? Like, yeah, we can collect money, make a donation, but once that money runs out, what's going to happen? They're going to be in the same situation all over again. And God put it in my heart. You know, I really thought about it, and I sent a few photos down of things that I designed, and they made them for me to spec. Perfect. I'm like, this is awesome. So, you know, God put it in my heart, and I opened a factory in Antigua. And you know, I started out with 15 guys. So, you know, they're.
So now you go down there and you open, I don't believe in accidents. You accidentally, coincidentally got lucky, hashtag, don't believe any of that. And we're connected with these people that are amazing craftsmen, not afraid to get their hands dirty because they're always dirty, ready to work. And you create a company down there.
Yes.
Okay. And the company is creating furniture.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
The company down there is called Muebles de Herencia Tropical, Tropical Heritage Furniture.
Muy bien.
Muy bien. Yes.
So like that.
You know, the wood and the craftsmanship is amazing down there. And, you know, down there it's $8 a day. and these guys, they work 12 hours, and it's crazy. And it's like, I can't pay them no $8. So, I figured it out, and they're basically making American wages in Guatemala.
Wow.
So I'm able to bless them. And every piece of furniture that they make, I ship here. And I believe in 2 weeks, the website will be up. It's Cheetah Lux.
Cheetah Lux. Oh, no, you froze. We got to know how to spell the website. You'll come back. I have faith. I know you will. All right. While he's frozen right there, we're talking with Javier Rosa, man on a mission, literally, who's back and forth to Guatemala, has not only fed them, but now he's empowering them by employing them and starting businesses down there. All right. You're back. You're back.
Yes.
So wait, what is the website?
It's Cheetah, Cheetah, Lux, Luxe.
Cheetah Lux.
Yes. And then my wife and I were going to open a boutique here, Lord willing. We've been praying, and we're going to be opening
here in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, yes. And, some of the stuff, the website will be up, praying in a few weeks. And, you can go on, you can see stories, you can see pictures, and you can see some of the furniture as well.
Now, when you say you're opening a boutique here, well, what does that have to do with what's going on down there? What's the connection?
And, with the boutique, for every piece that's purchased, I donate money back. And it helps, build houses in the landfill, and helps feed them. And, it's just how everything's working. Like, I ship up a few pieces now, and everything's been word of mouth. And it's been going so well to where, those guys there, they're blessing their neighbors, and that's awesome, because before that wasn't possible. And now, God has put it, in my heart to really push his movement, and, unless you see it, you can see pictures, you can talk to someone, but unless you see it with your own eyes and get to experience it, it's a whole nother beast. And it, just going down there, I'm not better than them, and, I love them, they're amazing set of guys, and, and the folks that I've met down there, just amazing.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it takes one person. I was two. It takes one person to start a revolution, and it could be a good revolution. That's what you're witnessing here. That's what you're hearing about. All right, so Javier, let me ask you this. So a lot of people are watching this, and I'm sure, no doubt, it's inspiring, and they love it. But a lot of people don't see themselves in this position. Well, how can I help? How can I benefit? Well, I'm not going to go. I can't go. Guatemala, whatever. How does? Well, let me ask you this. First of all, because we talked about how different people have different types of gifts. You were mentioning how you have some friends that have different talents, and even were offering to do haircuts and just to do some pampering for the ladies and things. Like, talk about that. Like, different people can bring different things to the table. What's that about?
Yes, right now we're in the midst of having a medical team come down. My wife's friends, they're gynecologists, and a lot of women in the landfill, they have the babies, and that's it. They never get checked again. And as a woman, we know they need to be checked, and these women are willing to fly down. There's 6 of them, and then a few doctors and nurses and things. They're going to fly down. A few barbers. We're going to, do their hair. We have massage therapists coming down just to, give them a little pampering and, let them know, like, yo, you're loved. It's okay. And, so that's in the near future. And, like I said earlier, I didn't know what gift I had. And when I went down with teachers. I went down with accountants. I went down with, different professions that had a lot to offer. And me, I have the gift of gab, I guess, and I love being around people. I'm very family oriented. And, God put it in front of me to talk to these folks with these back issues. And, and that opened the door for me because we had something in common.
And one thing led to another, and here we are.
And here we are.
Bob, let me ask you this. If there are people who are looking to get involved with the mission and the cause and to help, how can they get in touch with you? Is there a website? Is there a business number they can contact? What's the best way of doing that?
Yes. You can reach me at MRJA, V as in Victor, IER, ROSA at yahoo.com until the website is up. Yes.
Mr. Javier Rosa at
Yahoo.com.
yahoo.com. Mr. Javier Rosa at yahoo.com. No period with Mr. That's pretty amazing, man. Wow. You're definitely blessed, and you're definitely blessing others.
Thank you.
It is fantastic to see, because that's living proof. I love it. Hey, so listen, we have people that have questions for you. Do you want to go into the Marc Hayford mailbag here?
All right.
Let's do it.
Yes,
Mailbag, Marc Hayford mailbag, Marc Hayford mailbag, borrowed from the U.S. Postal Service. All right. We got all kinds of letters in here. Woo. Dogs are barking on the studio here. They think the actual mailman's here. Rip him apart. Okay. All right. Javier, here we go, man. This is thrills. We got okay. So first of all, this one comes from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's by a lady by the name of Holly Paul. And Holly has a question.
Holly.
Hello, Holly. Holly has a question for you. She says, well, you answered some of this. What type of jobs are you creating in the community? And has that sparked more job growth? And have you tried teaching them how to grow their own gardens to provide food? Interesting. What can you say to Holly, who has a really good question there?
Yes. Well, one thing with the factory, the gentlemen, all the men that work there, they're already craftsmen, but there's not enough work. So, that's how I met them. They were working from their home, and they might have one job, maybe 3 weeks later have another. So here, they have they work every day, Monday through Friday, and they're using all the state-of-the-art tools. No homegrown, no machine rigged up. Everything is brand new from the States, and they love it. I gave them the tools, and they're producing amazing furniture.
You're spoiling them.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
And another thing they do is I give them free transportation to work. I have a van down there that picks them up, and I have a young lady that I met, and she cooks for them every day. And then, she's on payroll as well. So they get a free meal, free transportation to work. Wow.
It's amazing, bro. It's amazing stuff. I wish you were my uncle. This is great. All right, here we go. Uncle Javier's coming to town, baby. Here we go. This is from my friend Tara Rutley from Houston.
Hello, Tara.
Hello, Tara. Tara is from Houston, Texas. She works for freaking NASA. You got got astronauts asking you questions here.
Yes.
How do you select who you employ? Great question. I'm sure when you come to town, it's like Santa's coming to town. Everybody wants a piece of it. The word gets out. How do you know who's the real deal and who you're selecting?
Well, the gentleman that runs the factory for me, his name is Juan Pablo. He is married to the interpreter that I met, and he was struggling, couldn't find a job. I hired him to run the factory. So he runs it. So he interviews the people first. Then my head carpenter, which is Don Rodrigo, he interviews them. And in the third interview, I fly down once a month for a week. So we try to set it up to where once we're hiring, that's how we do it. We'll just find that, and I'm the type of person that I'll pick your brain. I'll find out, you might not be the best, woodcutter, but you may stain the furniture well. Or if there's no skill at all, we have guys there that are just learning, but they're learning from the best, and then, we get to spread the word while we're at work. Every morning they come in, I Skype, we talk to them about Christ. We talk to them about how to treat their women, how to treat their children. And, so it's just awesome, everything that's fallen into place.
I love it. Yeah, I'd be the guy that you would not hire. I can't even, the toilet paper roll runs out. I'm like, oh, who can we call? Light bulb went. Oh my goodness. All right. So there you go, Tara. Great question. Okay. We got one more for you here. Let's go to your home area. Let's go to Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
All right. Downingtown.
This is from Matt Rotman. Matt asks, yeah, what's up, Matt? Matt says, what is God saying now about where to go with this amazing plan? Is it a long-term program that stays in the area like a controlled experiment, or is he telling you this is a much bigger scale than you originally thought?
That's a great question. Awesome question. Yes, it's funny because I've been working at it, and my wife, she's Haitian American, and as you know, people still living from the earthquake in the tent city in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and I'm looking at a piece of land down there, and we're gonna, Lord willing, we're gonna build houses and get the folks out of tent city and employ them at the factory that we're gonna build on this piece of land. And so I flew down a few times and spoke to a few people about, who can run it and, the craftsmanship. And we found a great set of folks down there. And so in the near future, we're definitely going to take it to Haiti. We're going to go to El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama. And God's just been great to allow me to experience this, and just several years ago, I'm laying in the bed giving up. And now, I don't want to call it overwhelming. It's just overwhelmed with blessings, and like I tell folks, I'm just a simple guy, and God's been good to me.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has, man. Guys, we're talking to Javier Rosa. This is charity. This is faith. This is miracles. That's what this show is about. Well, listen, man, you are busy. You got a lot of people pulling at you from different directions. So we're going to wrap it up in a second. But before I let you go, a guy like you has to stay on point. What's something you could recommend? We have all different ages, backgrounds, genders, education levels, races, everyone that watches this show, literally all over the world. What's something that you could recommend for these people to just get filled up on and something that helped you or personal growth?
Definitely. The latest book I'm reading right now is Knowing God by J.I. Packer. And it's an amazing, amazing book. And it just really talks about faith and, just basically staying motivated because, like you said, I have tons of stuff going on. And the way God allowed everything to fall into place, like there's no stress levels. Like, if, my wife, she's amazing. She, allows me to travel, takes care of the baby, my son, and she sees how God is working.
Javier, you just explained how you went from giving up to you're traveling to different countries. You're starting factories. You're employing communities with people you don't even know, and you're telling me there's no stress in any of this for you.
Not at all. And my wife can attest to it. And it's just amazing where, I just take one obstacle at a time. I do it. And if I get a little flustered, I leave it on the back burner, switch to something else. And everything's just been forward, just picking up, snowballing, and it's a great effect.
Love it. Love it. Wow. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If that doesn't want to make you run out and help uplift another person, man, I don't know what does. So, Javier, we want to thank you so much for coming on the program, man.
Thank you for having me, Marc.
Hey, this is what this is about, man. Creating vision for those who can't see and for lifting those up who can't pick themselves up. And we all need that once in a while, clearly. Here was a man that gave up who now is uplifting communities in other countries. You guys can too. We all have a different purpose. We all have a different mindset. We all have different talents, skill sets, goals, desires. And this is stuff that you could take this week. You can make a difference. One person clearly, as we've seen on this show today, can start a revolution in a good way. So start your own revolution. Get your head right. Start with you and go be that effective, positive energy for everybody else that you come in contact this week. Have your goals, smash them to little bitty pieces, and then go create new ones and go do it over again. Hey, we're going to see you next week with another Jedi freaking rock star warrior night. That's what's going to go down because that's what we do in this show, baby. So for Javier Rosa and for Marc Hayford, we will see you guys next week. Keep on rocking. Go slay the day. Peace.
Take care, Marc. Thank you.